What I'd like to show you now is to go over what some of these buttons do. The first one and the second one are search buttons, and they're the same as the search button right here. So they're the same. I just use this search button here. And say you want to look up a patient, you can go by patient name or by account number. And that's where you can find patients if you want to look them up. This is the appointment calendar. You really won't need to use that. The staff will use it. Referrals, you really aren't going to need to use. Patient insurance, you don't need to use. This one is doctor bag. You're going to use this one all day, every day, the whole time you're with us. You'll use this one right here. It's the doctor bag. This is where you open up the medical records. The next one is for contact lens prescriptions, spectacle prescriptions. You really won't have to use these. This is mainly for optical and staff. Ledger, if you want to see if the money was generated properly or put in properly, you can go to patient ledger. This is an action item. It is the same as the to-do list. So the action item here and the to-do are the same. This next one is for recalls. This is the alert button. So, for instance, say the patient severely allergic to tropicamide. Well, you're going to miss that because you're not going to know where to find it. It's not going to pop up on you. If you click this alert box, down here in these boxes gives you the option as to where you want the alert memo to pop up. Let's say, for instance, you want it in the examination because they're allergic to tropicamide. Or you can check all and it'll pop up everywhere. So I'm just going to check all and I'm going to write, warning, patient is allergic to tropicamide. Okay. Save. You can also delete it and edit it and print it if you want. But now it's going to pop up in the alert messages. I want to exit out. The other options you have are notes. Usually the insurance people will use the notes section. As a doctor, you really won't use the notes because no one's really going to see this unless you click on that note box. So I wouldn't advise you to use the notes as a doctor. It's mainly used for insurance purposes. The next one over you can ignore. This has to do with printing. Scan documents, we use this a lot. And then the next one is for tracking purposes. You won't need to use that. But scan documents is where I'll click on that. And in the scan documents tab, you will see all the information that is scanned in. And up at the top you can add, page, list. You will mainly as a doctor click on list. Unfortunately there's not any scanned documents in Mickey Mouse. But you can click on this list button right here. And the list button will show you all the scanned documents. Medical records, your doctor's worksheet, the insurance information, contact lens disclosures, waivers. Anything that's scanned will be in this area. And you just need to take a little bit of time to click on list and look at them. You can edit them if you want, and there's a little resizing button down here. All these other little buttons right here are the same buttons that you saw previously. If you want to print it over here, you can. But you will use scanned documents quite a bit for going back and looking at old information. So say you're done for the day and the staff scanned everything in and you need to look at a record, well, you'll go right here. I'm back up in the upper left hand corner. If you want to add a new patient, you'll put them in here. You'll never do that. The staff will add the patients for you. Edit, if you want to change any information on the demographics here. Family information. If you want to jump back and forth between patients. If you want to delete a patient. You really should never delete a patient unless they're in there twice. The staff do not have deleting rights, so if they need something deleted, they're going to come to you. You are the only one in the office that can delete a record. The staff can't. So they may say, you know what, I added 2 patients. There's 2 Mark Westons in the office, and because I've added 2 Mark Westons by accident and I need to merge them. Well, the best thing to do is call me and let me help you with that. Searching for a patient, the ledger, which is the same as this, the exam, which is right here, it's the same as the doctor bag. So you can click on exam or doctor bag. They're the same thing. If you want to print, you can print a letter for the patient. You really won't use this print here. There's another print that you will use later. Comments, I never use that. Insurance information, we don't need that. The to-do list, remember that's the same as over here. If you want to put a to-do list. WP is word processing, and we use OpenOffice. You won't need to use this. This is for me when I design the programs. Farther across, appointments, there's already a button for that. Referral, you don't need to worry about. Documents, you don't need to worry about. Alert messages is the same as what I showed you a second ago. Spectacle RX. Back to the left side again. Contact lens RX, agreements, tracking, chart, history, and ERX. You really don't need to worry about these. So this gives you a general idea as to what's at the top. What you will also be concerned about is what's called provider dashboard. You will use this every day. The provider dashboard sits here. At this office there's 2 of them. Clicking on provider dashboard, hit OK. What it does is it tells you how many patients you have not signed off on. It tells you what work you still need to do for the day. So I check the provider dashboard because maybe I didn't sign off on a chart. Well, I go in here and check every day. I check this probably 4 or 5 times a day to make sure I've signed off on all my charts. You can't see it very well, but down here at the bottom it gives you a little bit of information as to how well you're doing financially. The other provider dashboard looks very similar. I know you can't see this very well, but it just pops up patient information for the day, allergies, any medicine that this patient's on. It's basically a summary for the day. It also puts down here is your to-do list. You can find it again. This is just basically a little summary for how well you've done today. Again, don't stress over not seeing this very well, but it tells you how many patients you've seen, how many people canceled on you for the day, patients with appointments for the day, your charges for the day, and down at the bottom on this provider dashboard is where you're missing the signed charts. So anybody that needs to you need to sign off on would be down here at the bottom. So I go to these provider dashboard. Each one is set up slightly differently, but mainly do the exact same thing. Most importantly is click on it and make sure you've signed off on your records. That's where you find if you finished your job. If you don't do this and you haven't signed off on a record, you can run into some serious problems with insurances as they audit us. So I go to this every day. In reports, you can also go to electronic health records and scroll over and down to where it says missing signature. And it'll say over here ID, and you can double click and put in your ID, hit begin, of patients. I guess actually I do have one. You can see I'm missing signing off on one record here.